keep it going here with the phones. You mentioned it during the newscast there, Sabrina, the passport services here for the homeless as they're rolling out the testing for the homeless. Is it this morning?
Yes, in Tamuning.
Okay, so let's get my friend Margaret Hattori Chima from the Guam Homeless Coalition and also the University of Guam. Good morning, Margaret.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, good morning. So I guess just first of all, can you just tell us a little bit more about you guys' involvement in the testing and the other efforts that are going on this week with the homeless?
Okay, well, the Homeless Coalition has public health as one of the partners, and so we've been meeting with public health, for quite a while, especially when the Paseo plan first came out, right? So that fell through. It's not a good plan, but we really wanted to continue to move forward and try to figure out how we can set things up to provide testing as well as our services. And April and May is usually when we did our huge Passport to Services event, where we had our homeless providers meet with the homeless and give them options. And during that event, it's kind of sad because that event a lot of homeless anticipated that. They're used to that happening, and we were always able to help someone get a job or house them or, really make a connection with our homeless individuals and families. So it's kind of sad we couldn't do that this year, but in conjunction with public health, sorry, I'm outside, we're getting set up. They are testing individuals and families today at Tamuning, and it was supposed to be at the senior center, but there's another event, so we're setting up in the pavilions, by the tennis courts.
Okay.
And Catholic Social Service has an outreach team. Those guys are great. They've been going out to talk to the homeless, provide some services and some hygiene supplies as well as masks. And they've already informed the homeless in the different areas, of the dates of the outreach. So I know last week Friday and the week before they went out, and many of the homeless that they talked to, the majority are willing to get tested. So we're very happy about that, because we do need to get a sense of where the virus is and who's infected, because we really don't know until we start doing more testing.
And we had 2 homeless test positive for COVID-19. This was a few weeks ago. We didn't find out any other information, and I don't know. I just feel like it's a little. I mean, glad they're getting tested, but it's a little late in the game. I don't understand why that.
Although it's so difficult, right, because of the lack of resources, and so I feel that it's never too late. And in terms of Guam and our the plans for mass testing, I'm happy that we're doing the homeless now, and I'm happy that they did do areas like Guma Tranquilidad, of course, and St. Dominic, because you've seen in the U.S. mainland how elderly facilities have been decimated. But we've got some of the Homeless Coalition service providers that will be here today: Salvation Army, Guam Behavioral Health, of course Catholic Social Services, and GURA will be here. So we will be providing some referrals as well. We're just setting up canopies now. It starts at 9. Some of us will probably go out, and some of the homeless are already starting to trickle in.
What's your goal for today, Margaret? How many people are you looking to get tested? I mean, are you approaching it with that kind of mindset? Because, I mean, they know. I know that they know the testing is there, but will they come?
Oh yes. So CSS has done a great job. You know Paula Perez, right? She's social worker extraordinaire. She's been going out. What a frontliner, that woman. She's an unsung hero. But CSS, they've got a long-standing relationship with the homeless individuals, and so she actually has, had a heart-to-heart with them. She's done COVID prevention education, but really asked them, hey, if we set this up, are you willing to come and get tested? We'll also have, our usual goodie bag with canned goods, and I think you saw yesterday Homeland Security's been making some hygiene bags, and we've already given some masks out, but they'll also be able to get some masks. So I think our sense, and a lot of the homeless have been hearing about, that something was going to happen and there were going to be some services. So I believe that they will come out and get tested. There are some pockets where we know they won't come out for various reasons, and public health, these nurses are amazing. They're, again, unsung heroes. I just talked to Margarita Gay from public health, and she's willing to take a small team and go to a few pockets and test people that just for some reason won't come here to the site, to get a really better sense of the homeless population and if they are infected or not. So I think that's amazing. But based on the January numbers, this area had 50 unsheltered homeless. Now keep in mind this event is only targeting unsheltered. Our count also included people living in very substandard housing, and that's not what this event is for. This is really purely the street homeless. So I'd say the high end count would be 50, but I'd be happy if we had 25. 50 would be amazing. Paseo, our high count is 100, and there are a lot more in the Paseo area.
Right.
A lot more homeless.
That, just reminds me, Agani would be a good place for some type of facility for the homeless, seeing as how they have a high number of street homeless.
Yes. And CSS and the other homeless shelter providers have been working closely with Gura and, the team that's been trying to figure out whether or not to get a hardened facility. And, it's just so complicated. We just want to make sure that there are services available.
Is it really complicated, Margaret? I mean, because this is frustrating on our end, and I don't even know if you guys are okay with it, but I mean...
we're very frustrated. Chris, you're right. Well, everyone's been frustrated because the individuals we want to reach out to, but some of the homeless providers like CSS had already expanded some of their programs, and so they're working with Grit to get some of the funding. And I think that's an excellent way to go, is to get funding so that providers like Salvation Army, CSS, and others that already have homeless services can expand. And we really need to increase housing for the homeless, whether it's a shelter. Our family shelter is only one, and it's always got a wait list, the one in Dedido. But also, it's difficult in the rental market to be able to get enough housing units for the homeless, even if we do have vouchers. So I think it needs to be tackled from more than one end. But definitely we're relieved that we didn't move forward with Paseo, particularly because, that's just not, you don't want to congregate a group that and potentially expose them to other problems.
Right. It's just frustrating because how much time and runaround and effort did we hear with Paseo, and then it was like,
they were out there measuring the social distancing.
The day before it was supposed to open. And I don't know. I just want to get mad at somebody. Can you tell me who to get mad at?
No, I don't know who to get mad at.
Just point me. I'm a loaded gun. Point me at who I get mad at.
We heard it was like, the tents weren't the right size, and we got to save the tents that we have in our inventory for typhoon season.
Yeah, as a coalition, we're just happy that plan did not go through, and because that just was not the most appropriate plan. But you're right, we need to move forward. Sorry, I'm just watching all the nurses get set up. So, so it's hard to get mad only because, as a coalition and with public health nursing, we just decided, okay, what can we do next? We know we can test, and we know we can offer the services that the coalition already had. And, we're working with Gura to try to expand, like I said. But you're right, that's above my pay grade, and I just don't know who to tell you to get mad at, because we do need more shelters.
Give me a list.
So have you heard like where this new hardened shelter is going to be? Or an idea?
We did. We have, of course, been participating with Homeland Security in some of those talks. But, the problem with the hardened facility, if it's not a permanent structure, in talking with the homeless, they don't want to be uprooted from where they're at for, let's say, a month or 2 months while it's, a great plan, and then get kicked out. Right. So unless there's permanent supportive housing, I don't know. A temporary plan is not a good solution. I know temporary plans are great, but, the homeless have been around for a long time. They're not stupid. CSS has been, talking to them and said, oh, hey, if we open this, would you want to go in? And a lot of them were saying, well, if it's short term, I'm going to lose my spot where I always stay. Right. And then unless you're going to get me permanent housing, with all the support systems, right? That's why I meant it's complicated, right. Because, while we need a building, we want to make sure that there's steps in place to help them with things like employment skills, and housing that's actually affordable.
Mm-hmm.
It
And you know,
Right? And Gura's been very, very helpful. Amorce is our Gura person that we work with on the coalition.
right. And when you talk about GRU, you're talking about like their self-sufficiency program.
Well, actually, so Gura is the Amorce from Gura is they're the collaborative applicants. So all our homeless coalition funding goes through Gura first, right, and then it passes through them down to the service providers. But they've been trying to work on, well, more in particular, has been really advocating for trying to, get more vouchers for affordable housing and working with apartment owners to try to get more housing units. They already have prioritized families with children. I know CSS and the elderly. I know several weeks ago when the whole Paseo thing was, really, well, when they were going to open that week, I know CSS had actually been successfully able to house some of the high priority homeless, meaning families with children and disabled homeless.
Mm-hmm. But the housing options, pregnant. I mean, how much is dependent upon whether or not people have to be employed? Because it just seems like it'd be a hard time trying to find a job during these times.
Yeah.
Right, definitely. And of course that's a consideration. And Salvation Army as well helps with, and not just, sorry, it's a big truck. Not just Salvation Army, but some of the other providers. Department of Labor, Department of Labor has been a great partner for us in trying to do some job training. But also, just getting them housed at first. You've heard of housing first as an approach where, the goal is just get them off the street and into housing,
right.
And then work with all the other services. But there are some partners like DOL that have been very helpful in terms of trying to set up training. And, I've had some homeless individuals, well, last year when we went out on the count, this year, sorry. When we went out on the count, the Department of Labor rep immediately got some of them in, especially younger adults that are able-bodied, in for appointments, and some of them eventually got jobs. But the problem was, well, there's so many problems with the employment market right now. But we got to hit this homeless issue from all fronts because it's affecting so many people of all different walks of life. From children, pregnant women. We had a pregnant woman recently give birth that was homeless. But just know that the service providers have been out there and, really struggling, but still trying to reach out to the homeless.
I mean, Margaret, I feel like it's been a bad year. I'm still bitter about the Ganya, the old legislature building and everything that happened with that and the reactions that we got from the administration. It was just, frankly, lacking compassion and empathy, I thought. And here we are, 2 months into this pandemic, still trying to figure out how to put a roof over the homeless people's heads. But and I feel like you're saying we're close, and I understand that if this is something that's going to be permanent, this could be an important part of the puzzle.
Yes.
Right?
Definitely.
Because you stand up a permanent shelter, we all know that there aren't enough shelters, and I just feel like we're just so close, and this could be something big for you guys.
But that's if it's not just a temporary opening. Okay, let's just open it up.
Right.
I mean, well, not to bring up the hotel issues, but bouncing people around from hotel to hotel that are in quarantine. I mean, you just want to make sure that if we're going to do a hardened structure, number one, what is the plan? What's the long-term plan? Right? And who's going to run it? That's another big thing. We've been talking about that. But yes. We're definitely keeping in communication with Homeland Security to find out where the progress is on that. And once we get through this week, especially with public health, and see what the numbers are looking like, I am really hoping, whatever the numbers are, that plan for something, whether it's a permanent shelter, doesn't get dropped. Because, you're right, this has been going on for too long, and it has been a frustrating year. And if there's funding available, I think we need to use it, and use it wisely.
Yeah, that's
you're talking common sense again, Margaret. I don't know what language is this. What language is this? It sounds like I don't understand it. No, every time we talk about the homeless, I get a foot-long text from Ray Tapasnia after the show. So
yeah. We've been working with Ray. We all learned a lot
It
from
never
the sales
fails.
planning
Every
and,
time we got somebody on, he sends me about a WhatsApp that long, like, okay, this is this and that's this and they said that and then like so. I'll let you know what he says.
How
we've been
many-
working with Ray and the Gura people.
Mhm.
You don't sound so excited about that though. You're like, we're working with Ray and the Gura people. Are they giving you the support
that's where
you need?
Our hope lies, right?
Right.
In terms of anything sustainable, it really lies. Gura is a key, and Ray's staff have been very close with working closely with the coalition members.
Right.
So
Yeah.
cross your fingers. Are hoping today goes well. It's already drizzling a little bit.
Okay.
All right.
How many homeless people? I'm sorry. What's the
Well, in the number in January for the Tamuning count was 50 street homeless.
I mean overall.
Oh darn! I'm so sorry, Sabrina. I don't remember.
I mean, I think it's.
But
I was just,
you are I guess anticipating a spike as a result of COVID.
Yes.
do we
yeah,
have any
yeah.
numbers on that yet,
Exactly.
Margaret, or not yet?
No, not yet. Not,
'Cause
you mean the
increase.
increase?
Right.
No, I don't. I'd have to ask Angelina.
Because we have some
but
anecdotal things. Mayor Louise has said she's seeing more people. Mayor Hoffman also said it.
Salvation Army.
I think tomorrow when we're in Paseo, we'll get a better view of it as well.
Okay, well,
right.
keep us posted.
Okay, thanks a lot. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
Anything
Okay.
else you want to add here, Margaret? You know, a lot of homeless people pop on the show. What do you want to say to them? This is their
Well,
week.
definitely, we are going to have some food. We're going to have service providers that want to do some referrals and help. We've got a bag also that we're giving out with food and some toiletries. So I really encourage them to come down and get tested. We really want to help and do whatever we can and just make that connection because we can also do follow-up. We've got our great homeless outreach team coming today, so please, we really do hope that people will come out the whole week.
Right on. Thank
Okay.
you, Margaret.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks
Hey,
a lot. I appreciate it.
If you need to
Okay.
touch base with us anytime this week, shoot me a text and we'll get you right on, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
For
Stay
everything
safe.
you're doing.
Wash your hands. Okay.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Yeah.
So Passport to Services, it's today. They're doing testing. They're going to be giving out bags with hygiene products for the island's homeless population. That is Tamuning, 9 a.m. to 12 noon. I'm sorry, it's not the gym, it's the pavilions.
By the tennis court.
Right.
We can see there's always a lot of homeless hanging